हेलो एंड वार्म वेलकम टू माय चैनल और आप सभी को होली की शुभकामनाएं। In this video, I have tried to decode the derivative data based on the open interest of all participants as on close of March 6th, Monday, 2023. So let's start with the index futures and see how things were happening out there based on the close from the FII desk. We can see that it was more of short covering. The FII segment, which was short on the index, have done large short covering, no new longs, very little new longs added by them, which is quite reasonable to understand because from 17,250, seen a rally all the way to 17,800. So maybe they are looking for a dip to add. But the good thing is that the short covering indicates two things. One, that real stop loss is hit, those who must have recently done it or were trailing. Number two, that they feel that this segment feels that the market might not go down to that extent or might not go down so fast. So some covering took place out there by them that in that order. Of that's the interpretation I'm using right now. The domestic institutions uh, did a long unwinding, more less of fresh shorts, but still the number is pretty decent out here. We can say down that it's a lot of stock futures and call selling, so they remain hedged properly. The prop desk did short covering, more short covering by prop desk, less of long unwinding. So their shorts came down. They don't play a very big hand in index futures compared to the FII and clients, but nevertheless, they reduce their bearishness to a considerable extent, almost one third of their position. The clients, massive long unwinding out here, and some fresh shorts also added by them. Remember, clients were at 1 lakh plus. They were almost 1 lakh 20,000 last week long. They've come down to half. So while the FIIs have reduced their bearishness by half, the clients have reduced their bullishness by half, both matching each other. Seesaw being balanced very well out here by both of them. Now in the option index, the call put ratio, FIIs, we can see out here that there is a huge amount of put covering done by them. So this put covering looks like puts which must have melted likely of this week or of the subsequent weeks, where because of the sharp 600-point move, some puts have melted, which they have probably covered in their shorts. But the long puts, they have not done much unwinding. That's why this figure gets a bit squeezed again to 1 is to 2.5 by them, because we can see a large amount of call unwinding taking place. Some shorts also being unwinded by them out here. So profit booking by the bullish part of the FIIs uh, in the options, perhaps of this week or next week. So maybe they're looking at some pause out here or something like that. The prop desk has done uh, a massive unwinding out here and also some short covering out here. That's why this figure now looks 1 lakh 13, because those props who are long have unwinded quite a bit. But if they were spread takers, they have shorted and out of the money C, or the naked C option call sellers, they haven't done much. So they still stand at 1 lakh 13,000. And in their put side, we can see that even though they've covered puts and they exited some puts also out here long. So basically put spreads were being squared off by them. And that's why this figure stands there. But now for the expiry, which is just 2 days now, truncated due to the holiday today, is almost 1 is to 1. So the prop desk feels that the range is going to be very tight both sides. We won't see a further large candles from either side according to them. It looks like their interpretation looks like that. Narrow range for the next 2 days. Not too much drama. The clients, on the other hand, we can see went mega bullish again. They had taken a bearish stand for 2 days. And in those 2 days, that is Friday and Monday, we saw good rally emerging. So they are now back to holding a still a bearish thing there, but their put shorting is much higher and almost 1:2.5 out here. So they feel that upside is also capped, but not to that extent, as downside definitely capped. They don't see downside to that extent happening. So they are more bullish inclined, but at the same time, they don't feel that the rally will be so strong. So basically, all the participants are of the view that the upside for this expiry might not be super fast next 2 days. Downside looks capped to both the prop desk and the client desk out here. In the stock futures now, it's quite amazing. This is a day to remember. The short covering by the DIs gives them a gross long day. The gross buyers. Everyone else is a gross seller. Everyone else for the seller out here. We can see long unwinding by the FIIs. We can see long unwinding by the prop desk. And we can see some long unwinding by clients as well as fresh shorts by client. Mind you, stock future shorting not done by anybody except for clients. Except for clients. The FIIs and the prop desk are not shorting stock futures. This is very small, 22 contracts, 315 contracts. So stocks, some profit booking happening, fresh shorts not being made out there. So stocks could still show some upside, which is a good sign for the market. These could be stocks which may not have a major index weight, or there could be some balancing, one sector going up, other sector, and being the index could be managed accordingly for the next few days at least. This is how the position looks. No bearish signal in stock futures. That's an important point to remember after a strong rally also. Just some long unwinding taking place. In the stock calls and puts, we can see as FIs continue to have a slight bearish stand out here. 1:2 continue. The prop desk again doing a copy paste of almost what the FII is doing, but this time the ratio is looking a bit more wider. The clients are back to buying, but Monday was more of 1:1. So they could be selling a strangle or doing a condor, something like that happening out there. Both sides being squeezed in that manner. For tomorrow, Wednesday, in Nifty index, support comes in at 17,650 and below that at 17,550. For resistance comes in at 17,725 and above that at 825 and then at 17,900. With that, I end this video wishing everyone a great week ahead. And once again, happy Holi, everyone.